Welcome to Fragmental.
An amusing take on random topics. So
So,
that's my
so,
lead-in, right? We have to do that now. I've done it
um,
28 fucking times in the last 2 years at this point.
oh yeah. I mean, you should. As a matter of fact, it should just be associated with the word fragmental for you
Yeah, exactly. It is.
now.
It is. Now I use so much of that. So much. That's a song, isn't it? That's the lyric. Those are song lyrics. So much.
Much,
Yeah, I don't know.
but I know I love you. No, wrong song. That's I don't know much.
From who?
Linda Ronstadt, and Aaron Neville.
Linda Ronstadt and Aaron Neville.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. I don't know much, but
yeah.
yeah.
But I know I
Aaron Neville.
love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. And you know what?
So
Hey, they're not all Ray J's dick, right? I mean, not all the jokes land properly, I guess, but
I know. Well,
Ray J's dick
Ray J's
lands
dick
properly.
they landed properly, right?
Landed properly enough to make a whole goddamn family famous.
Family rich. Yeah, I was talking about that with somebody the other day, and it was like, because that like they were launching their show when she did that video, right? Or when that video hit the market. Wasn't that right at the almost the same time, or was that like season 2 or 3?
I feel you know what? I didn't watch the show, so I can't say.
I've never
I
seen an
mean,
episode.
yeah. So I mean, it was around the same time. I don't know if it like, hey, if hey, well, since we're gonna go ahead and release this sex tape, you guys want to give us a TV show? You know,
No, I
sure,
I
why
think
not?
yeah, I think the TV
Two
show
of
was
your kids are hot.
yeah. Well, I'm not gonna say because she was super young at the time, but today, because they're both now that
Well, that's
everybody's of
yeah,
age.
right. Because at that
Um,
point, the two youngest ones were still like kids.
yeah,
So yeah,
Or is it Kylie? Yeah, Kylie.
I
She's the
don't.
Jenner, right?
Yeah, there's Kendall and Kylie. I just don't. Honestly, I don't know which is the
Kylie's
younger
the
one.
one that wants to trying to look like Kim,
Yep.
where she got her face redone, her ass redone, everything redone. That her parents, I think her mom paid for, which is awesome. And then I love I love that they're like, oh, she's the first billionaire, and I'm like, no, she's not. She's not the youngest She's not the youngest billionaire.
Hey,
And
and
then they
did you?
came out
Yeah.
and they fucking the numbers were like jacked.
Oh yeah, and it turns out she not a billionaire. She really wasn't that close. I mean, she was still filthy fucking rich. But
Oh,
like,
she was filthy rich walking into it.
right. But the point is, like, she's not a billionaire. What if you were one of those dicks that donated $20 to try to make her a billionaire, and you were broke? You know, like,
You don't fucking. But that's what I don't get. It doesn't matter, man.
uh,
It doesn't fucking matter. Even if you're broke and you're that into, and you're gonna give $20, even if you said, oh, she didn't have, you wasn't even close. You just gave away $20 for nothing. I don't think it would fucking phase them at all.
you're right. I mean, I guess
God
I'd
damn
be
it, Mike!
pissed.
Why'd you get me riled up like this?
Oh well, hey, you mentioned the mom. You know I
Yeah,
can't fucking stand. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I think she's one of the worst human beings alive. Like, there's like Manson level people. She's not quite
yeah,
there, but like,
yeah. She hasn't
she's
killed anybody.
definitely, yeah. I mean, she might be Unabomber. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I mean, she might be, if he shaved his
Uh,
beard, she might be where the Unabomber is.
I wouldn't put her at the Unabomber level, but she's not winning in Mom of the Year in my world in my book.
Oh, not by
So
anybody's. No. I mean, I'm pretty sure she was fluffing Ray J during the sex tape. Hold on, Kim. He's almost there.
oh God.
And
Yeah.
and Ray J being, a human male was just like, hey, there's plenty there to play with.
Exactly. Exactly. It's yeah. It would have been awesome if it was like a Tommy Lee Ray J thing. Jesus. One guy could steer, the other guy could shift gears. And if they're
the gear shift.
yeah, on the boat.
Just for the sake of this discussion, it's a 6-speed, not just your standard boat. It's the
Yeah. It's actually got a clutch and everything.
right. It's a standard. It is not.
It's no Nash Rambler, but
but it still hits fourth gear pretty quick.
exactly. Oh God, fucking Ray J and Tommy Lee. What was I gonna say?
I don't know where to
How did
go
we get
from
on the
there.
Kardashians? Yeah, I don't even know how we got on that one.
I don't either. I wish we
It
weren't.
doesn't.
But you know what? We haven't ripped on them in a solid 5-10 episodes. I mean, we were way overdue to give them 5 minutes of shit.
Exactly. Um, w- no, I think we hit on them here and there.
Right. Well, okay. I mean, that's yeah. I think that's the one thing we didn't talk about in the episode. The episodes before this that we're like we got to make sure we touch on golf, porn. I think that was one we didn't was ripping on the Kardashians.
Yeah, exactly. It's what did my wife say? It's golf, porn, and she said NASCAR, but we haven't had on NASCAR in a while.
Yeah, NASCAR / rip on the Kardashians.
Sports. Yeah, yeah. Hey, speaking of sports, you see like they're postponing a bunch of games. The Marlins are like half their team has COVID.
Yeah, it seems like every day they're like, there's a Marlins COVID outbreak. Then the next day, 3 more tested. The next day, 4 more, and it's like, how big is the damn team? I mean,
exactly. Hey, the MLB should step in and look at fucking oh god, I lost my train of thought on the fucking team. What do you call that? Roster. That's what the fucking roster.
Oh yeah,
I think of roster. Like check for roster moves or roster.
Yeah. I mean, what do? Do you just have them forfeit the games and they're just like, sorry guys, somebody's got to be the sacrificial lamb. It's going to be the team that got a bunch of fucking COVID.
Well, the Yankees, I've just read. I haven't read the article or read, so I just saw the blurb. But they're postponing their match
Yeah,
too for the
because
weekend.
it was
I don't know.
yeah. So where the Marlins played when they started testing was in Philadelphia, which is where the
Oh,
Yankees
okay.
are playing. So just more as a precaution, they're like, hey,
Right.
we're going to cancel the next couple of games. Make sure nobody from Philadelphia tests positive. But I believe, I could be wrong, there were a couple Marlins who tested positive and then still played in a game.
That's awesome.
Well, that's where, like, okay, now you've crossed a damn line. Like, it's one thing, like, it's here, okay, we get it. It's another, you knew about it, and maybe they took the test, played, and then tested positive. I mean, I didn't read the whole thing, but
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you let them play, the team doctor's going to be fired, and the team should probably be fined. Not that the Marlins have the money to pay the fine, but well, I
That's
mean,
funny. We're talking about the Marlins, and my watch buzzed, and it says, "What's next for the Marlins?" from ESPN. So, it's a listen. I think it might be listening.
You're right, and
Um,
no, they don't listen.
yeah, they don't listen at all. Um, I was just thinking of something. When you take the test, you're supposed to like not do anything. You're supposed to quarantine until you get the results.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
even if he did take the test, he shouldn't have been out on the field waiting for the results. He should have been quarantined waiting for the results.
yeah. I mean, that's the. I mean, that's where it's just an ultimate failure, right? I mean, I get it. With some of these sports, you can't do like they do in the NBA. I get it. You're right. They can have triple headers and that kind of stuff. I don't know if they're playing in multiple venues or not, in the bubble or whatever. But right, baseball, the teams are twice as big. Obviously, the field's huge. I mean, you can't. I don't know. I guess you couldn't do what the NBA is trying to do, but clearly this is a failure on how to do this. So I mean,
Yeah.
it is going to put the season in jeopardy. Whether it happens or not, we'll see. Hopefully, it still happens. I mean, look, the country needs an outlet. I don't know that baseball's it yet, but I think it's a step in the right direction as long as we can show it's not going to negatively affect COVID and the public.
Right.
So,
somebody else is doing a bubble too. Is it hockey? No.
I think hockey is doing a bubble. I don't know if I think it may be a little bit different than the NBA, but I think it's still along those lines.
Okay. I thought I saw somebody else. Some other sport mentioned bubble.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's the right way to try it. I mean, I think if it is going to work, that's how it's going to have to work.
yeah, but it makes sense. You could just kind of quarantine yourself out, and you're Jesus. I can't fucking talk tonight. You're limited exposure to everybody. I mean, you have a set of
Right.
exposures, except for what we talked about a couple episodes ago. But they're bringing like fucking chicks in there. And
Well, did you see Lou Williams from the Clippers? He had an exemption, like somebody was really close to him. I don't know that it was his actual grandfather, but somebody basically who was like a grandfather to him passed away. So they gave him an exemption from the bubble to go to the funeral, and then typically they'll come back and quarantine for like 4 days. And he was photographed at a strip club. He claimed it was for the wings, but I mean the point is, like, dude, really? Like, you couldn't. That's one you couldn't have just waited. I mean, how good are those wings and breasts?
There are no Woody's wings here, and there are no
Oh.
Woody's wings out of Worthington.
Yeah, those were damn good.
Yeah, I went there the other day and we got like a guy, getting some beers with the guys, and I had some more wings there. They're really good. They have a huge menu, and they've got like a drive up. You can order and then drive and pick up, and they have a drive through and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm thinking about doing that.
Man, that sounds awesome.
It does sound awesome. So Woody's, if you're listening, there's a plug, by the way. If anybody at Woody's Wing House is listening to the podcast, FYI, we love your wings. If you're in Columbus, in the Worthington area, please stop by Woody's Wing House.
Woody's Wing House.
That was, yeah.
Woody's Wing
47.7 Columbus Circle. I don't know. I'm just made up. I don't even know the address.
Off of 23, just south of 270. Woody's Wing House.
Just north of 270.
Oh, it's north. Okay.
It's
so
north.
It's north,
yeah.
not south.
Because it's off a Campus Drive. There it is.
There.
Woody's Wing House, Campus Drive.
Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. This is our plug right there.
There it is, right there. Right. We got our first advertising that we're not getting paid for.
Have your hankering for wings? Woody's Wing House.
47 miles just north of 270. What? That's like Michigan.
Right. I thought you said Worthington. Who gives a shit what we said? 47 miles away.
There
Best
was
wings in town.
You're not even in Columbus anymore.
That's awesome.
Woody's Wing House, 477 miles south of Detroit. What? Where is that? Cheech and Chong on a bit.
We're not in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. We're not Canadian anymore. Cheech and Chong they did a bit years and years ago when this was like before, like, like that. I think it was on one of their albums.
When they were just
70s.
Albums, like before the movie, before Up in Smoke and all that.
It might have been right around the same time.
Because their albums were fun. They were funny.
They did one that they were doing a commercial, and it said, "Come on down to Joe's Auto Barn or whatever." He goes, "We got cars. We're selling cars." He goes, $50 down, $50 a month for 50 years. And then he goes, "How do you get here?" He goes, "You drive 97 miles." He goes, "Till you get to something." He goes, "And you turn right." He goes, "Then you drive 97 miles." And he goes, "And you go to the old lady." You go, "Where the hell am I?" You drive 97. It was like this weird fucking address. It was no address. It was like 97 miles, but it was $50 down, $50 a month for 50 years. So just one of those things is like I don't know how old I was at the time, probably 6. You hear it and just you that's like the funniest thing you've ever heard in your entire life.
Those guys were awesome, man.
Well, they're still alive. They're not, but they're not doing.
But I mean, they're not really like actively Cheech and Chong now.
Yeah. Didn't they do a? I thought they had they did a show or something.
I think they did, but I mean, really, for the last 20 years, like Cheech had kind of separated himself. I mean, Tommy Chong is still Tommy Chong.
Yeah.
But then I feel like it was, I don't know if it was a charity thing or what, but I do think they did something. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tommy was opening up shops in California.
Yeah.
Pot shops. Yeah.
He was arrested because some of his bongs shipped in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, it was illegal,
yeah.
I guess. So yeah, but he went to jail, I feel like, for a year or even longer than that. Like, it was kind of ridiculous. Like, there are like violent criminals that did less time than Tommy Chong did.
Yeah, that's the piece I don't get. It's like, well, I mean, I don't know.
You don't have to be pro pot to realize it makes no sense that his company sold a couple of bongs in Pennsylvania, so he went to jail for a year. And, there are people who rob other people that did 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm surprised, though, they didn't lawyer themselves right out of that. I mean, into
It was,
something
you know what
else.
though? Like, I think it had to be the town of Pennsylvania was probably, very Bible Beltish, and you know,
He's, did he sell it to the Amish? Jebediah
um,
wants his fucking bongs.
yeah. Hey, you know what? Hey, something's got to help. Yeah, I mean, those guys deserve a release after working so hard on the farm.
After putting those barns up every day.
I mean, they might see a knee or an ankle and get pretty excited and smoke a bomb.
Dude, if they see a knee, they're gonna it's over. I mean, they're gonna just
You
pass out.
just see a row of dudes with wet stains right there in
Yeah,
the middle.
because of the knee, knee showing.
um, but yeah, man. One of the things I thought we could talk about a little bit today is
Oh,
it seems like
you actually want to talk about something?
yeah, we
Just,
can't. I mean, we don't have to.
I'm joking.
I think
I'm
we're doing
joking, 'cause
pretty
we've
good
been
at just
rambling for
riffing.
about 60 minutes.
But right, it seems like COVID's never going to end at this point. Like, there's more people testing, more people testing positive, more people in the hospitals, deaths are back on the rise. So certainly doesn't feel like this is going away anytime soon.
No, not for. What did we talk about today? My gut is probably another year and a half to 2
Oh, for sure. This is
before. But yeah,
easily going well into 21.
yeah.
So what would a couple things that I figured we could talk about. A, what would we do if COVID actually ended? And B, is there anything we would keep? Now that we've gotten, whether we like it or not, I think we've kind of gotten used to COVID life. Is there anything
Uh,
about this that we would keep?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm. What's funny for me is I'm actually, not that I'm enjoying it, but I'm like kind of a homebody, so this is working out great for me. What does suck is we do like to travel, and that's well off the fucking radar. Even though things are flying, the airlines are flying and all of that. But
Yeah, this has to hurt the elitism, right?
oh god, like it's taking a fucking beating right now. You know what I
Cheese
mean? It's just
wires
like
are in trouble.
cheese wires, the fucking Cracker Barrel stocks going up at Cracker Barrel. We don't have those fucking knives. Although my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law are going, they're going to France they're actually going back to that same area that we went to a couple years ago.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
they're driving, which kind of helps. I didn't know this, but they were telling how they drive down to the southern part of the UK, and they load their car onto the Eurostar or Euro whatever it is that goes through the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And you sit in your car, and then when you get to the other side, it stops, and then you drive off. So they're going to be sitting in their car. They're going to be sitting in their car for like I forgot what she said, like 45 minutes to an hour and a half or something like that. And you just ride in the train just takes you through, and then when you get to the other side, you just drive. And so they're going to drive all the way down so it's almost to Switzerland.
Are you
Which
allowed
is
to have
not
your car on or no?
I would probably say no, because you're in the channel. So where's the other? I mean, but I don't know where the fumes would go. Um, it's those tunnels are amazing because I don't know if you've ever seen this, but they there's like a third tunnel that nobody uses, and it's just for venting venting the tunnel, and if there is an accident, getting people out. So when they build this, then when they build them, they always build like one or two extra tunnels that aren't the full scale. They can, I mean, but they can get, if there was an accident, you can get out and get into these tunnels and then get out and get out. And Switzerland's not near Sweden, or Sweden's not near Switzerland. What, I don't know. It doesn't fucking
Wait,
matter.
what? They're fucking neighbors. We talked about this.
Yeah, they're neighbors in the dictionary. I think is really what it boils down to. I think it's Sweden then Switzerland, or Swahili. No, Sweden then Switzerland. So
Whoa. I mean,
anyway,
they're so close that a completely different language is also associated. Gee.
yeah, Swahili. Is that a country?
No, isn't that?
That's a language.
It's
That's
one
a
of
language.
the African languages, right?
It is. Yeah, it is one of the African languages. Anyway, so that's the as far as what's normal or whatever. That's getting back to traveling would be fun, but
Yeah, I know
but
that has a much bigger impact to you. Right. I mean,
Yes,
we've
exactly.
discussed ad nauseum that I
Yeah.
have never been to Europe. So
Mhm. You should try it sometime.
yeah, I'd
Um,
like to. I'm probably solid at least 12 years away. So
exactly. Once all the kids are in college and have jobs
well,
and
I
they're
mean,
paying for your trip.
unless the award-winning podcast Fragmental is able to go international, in which case.
Exactly. Yeah. Episode 300 from Paris, France, the Eiffel Tower. I, oh, um, so what we were saying, like, new, like, what do you like about COVID? Um,
Well,
you know what? We're
yeah,
not.
yeah, what
I
would you
mean,
keep? Because it's
what would you
not
keep?
as shitty as it's been. There have been some things, right? Like, an example for me is the month of July always sucks for us. There's birthdays, get-togethers, family stuff. Not that they're terrible things, but it's every Saturday and Sunday for the entire month. I mean, we did pretty much one thing this July, and it didn't hurt my feelings. It was actually kind of nice. So
Hmm.
to not be constantly running all around, which again, and I'm a social person, so that's not
Yeah.
really normal for me to say that, but I liked it. I mean, being able to wake up and not have to, okay, by 10 o'clock, we all have to wake up, shower, get dressed, which when you have a household as big as mine, that is not, a 45-minute ordeal. That's a
Right.
3-hour undertaking. So,
Yeah. You know what's funny? I feel like I'm getting more, like, right now I'm getting more stuff done. Now maybe it's just because it's summer and you can go. Because I like to get up earlier and go to do like an early morning walk. And but these first couple of days of this week have been like, you got, what did I do yesterday? Oh, we ordered groceries from Kroger. So it was like,
uh,
I got up, I did my thing, I got back in the house, I like fired my laptop up and started to get ready for work. Quickly, like at 9, go pick up the groceries, got back, and it just feels like, things are just moved, like I'm clipping things off left and right, left and right, left and right. So it's kind of energizing, from some degree. But I mean, that's more of the working from home piece. Um,
yeah,
so, and then that's not going away for a while. I don't think I want it permanent. It's just, it's kind of nice at the moment.
I agree.
So,
I think if given the choice, I'd want to do like a 2 days in the office, 3 days from home. So you still get the ability to have face-to-face meetings if that's what people need. You can still do the work networking kind of thing that's huge in the corporate world. You could still
yeah.
do those things, but still have that convenience of the work from home. So, because for some reason there are still some people who have not warmed up to the idea of Teams, Zoom, or Skype.
Yeah, it's funny. Somebody mentioned something the other day about, oh, I think I read it about, like, Zoom fatigue is what they called it. And there was a joke when this first went down where, like, now we're going to find out if that meeting could have been an email. Well, typical human nature, we've moved from that meeting is now an email, which is perfect. And then it's like, well, now it's a Zoom call. And now we're into I feel like everybody's into this. Well, that fucking Zoom meeting could have been an email. Like, we've just
Yeah,
replaced the meeting with Zoom. And it's like, you need to use it kind of judiciously. Use it when you need face-to-face conversations or when you would have a normal meeting.
yeah,
But people haven't learned, I feel like people haven't learned that could have been an email. Like, you should use Zoom the way, like, you should use a true meeting. And that would be, there's a reason to have a meeting, get everybody face to face, have the conversation, because it's going to take too long to explain in an email.
no,
But
I
it,
agree with that
it
100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I think we're Zoom fatigue. But it's the use of technology and people metering it out. But where were we going with this? But no, I agree with you. Like, the office piece of it, I would, you say 3 days off, 2 days in?
Yeah. I mean, I think,
Yeah.
or even vice versa, but I mean, I think
Yeah,
it's
I think
still,
maybe 3, 2.
yeah, but either way, like it's still a mixture of both. Plus, hey, man, I got a shitty drive. So it
Yeah.
does not hurt my feelings that I'm not spending 2 hours a day on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that. Mine's brutal. I mean, that, like I was saying, it's like, it's like, in the summer the car doesn't cool down by the time I get to the fucking office. In the winter it's not warm enough yet.
The
I
arduous
don't know.
trek down
The
Riverside
arduous trek of
Drive.
all 4 miles to the office. I think it's 4.
Yeah.
Is it 4 or
Meanwhile, I'm not even out of my town yet.
5? Oh God. I was years ago when I was working in Chicago, and one of the girls that worked in the office lived in the city, like downtown Chicago, and she would drive out, and I was turning onto the road that went back to the office, and she was coming, and she, as I was turning or something, we saw each other as like turning onto the same street at the same time or whatever it was, or she waited for me to turn. It doesn't matter. Anyway,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Dave, just go on with the fucking story. I need all the detail.
Would you just move
Um,
on? Good God.
yeah, no kidding. Fuck. What kind of car was she driving, asshole?
Was it
Anyway,
sunny outside?
I don't remember. Anyway, we get to the office. She's like, it's just not fair. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, I literally left my house like an hour and a half ago. And I go, yeah, I was barely getting up at that point. You know what I mean? Because I lived like 10 miles from the office. And she's like, I'm like, well, you chose to live in the fucking city. That's your deal. So, but then I actually ended up moving into the city anyway and did the same thing she did.
Yeah. Well, clearly it wasn't that bad, or she didn't do a good job of selling it.
She didn't really do a good job of selling it, that how awful it was. But anyway, yeah, I mean that's good. I mean, I'm not really driving anywhere, so I'm just saving on gas and stuff like that. But but we can still go places, so it's not it. I think that's the one thing I just can't figure out where, and maybe it's because it's a city thing. You know, like in New York, you couldn't even go onto the street, so maybe that's where the angst is coming from. But you and I could actually get in our car and go somewhere. I mean, it wasn't like we were chained to our desk in our house or chained to inside the
Yeah.
house. You know what I mean? So, but I feel like I'm getting more stuff done. Hopefully, I can keep that momentum. When it first started, though, I loved that there was no traffic. Fuck, I loved there was no traffic. I
Oh,
mean, no cars were
did
out.
you feel like now that there are more cars on the road that they came back even worse than before?
No, well,
I do. Like, I feel like, merging on, some of the traffic is not, the flow of traffic is not great in Columbus. So just
yeah,
the roads are not inducive to good traffic flow. There's like certain areas that have a clover leaf that just causes a backup. And like coming off the clover leaves, I feel like people forgot how to merge, and that got so much worse than it used to be. And it's like, what? Like, we
I
all
never.
did this 3 months ago. Stop it.
Yeah, exactly. And you're 60. You've been driving for fucking 40 years, so or
Right.
more, 40, however, whatever the fucking math is on that.
Right.
Um, it's the same people. Well, like when it snows, they're the same. These are the same fucking
Oh,
people. Like, oh my god, they're all over the road. And like, you driving this shit every year. I mean, you didn't for. Did you forget how to drive living in your house?
like
It's
that's all.
funny because
Yeah.
I
Go
think
ahead.
the traffic isn't the same.
No,
Like
it's
before,
not.
traffic was like going to the office and then they were gone, right? They drive,
Yeah.
you had it for a little bit. All these fuckers are going to like bars and restaurants and shops and all that. So they're not they're jumping all over the fucking place. So that's why I think traffic seems heavier, in my opinion.
No, you're probably right. And that's always my joke when it starts snowing. Like, newsflash, it snows in Central Ohio. Like, it may not be Buffalo, but you know what? Columbus still gets the 20 to 30 inches a year. Usually one or two decent snowfalls. Like, this is not
Right,
new.
right.
I mean,
Yeah,
yes, we
Columbus is
don't.
no
Yeah,
Buffalo.
right. Like, we may
Columbus
get
is no Buffalo.
a foot, in one snow, a foot tall snowstorm every 5-10 years. That's fine. But we usually get every year a good 6 to 8 inch snowstorm. So it shouldn't be that like good, the white death is among us. Like,
Exactly.
come on, there's fucking 3 inches of snow on the ground.
I used to like growing up. It was awesome. But the weatherman wouldn't even get excited in Syracuse until it was like 8 to 10. Like anything less than 10 inches, he was like, "Meh, we'll be fine." Hey, we're gonna get some snow.
Hey,
It might be
Columbus, you
10
want a
inches.
bitch? There's people in Buffalo that have to dig it off their roof before it caves in.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Try that shit,
yeah, like,
Columbus.
bitch about your
Yeah.
3
Fuck you,
inches.
Columbus. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So,
Anyway,
yeah, I
but
mean, yeah.
what else? I mean, what else would you think is decent? Or would not wish it would stay, but
Yeah.
would stay.
So, that's the biggest for me, is not having to be other places. The work from home thing's been kind of nice. Trying to think what else. I mean, That might be. You know what though? I mean, this has made us start using the Kroger click list and then, those
Hmm.
kinds of things, which has been that's going to stay now. I mean,
Yeah.
now I'm only going to the store for two reasons. One, I felt like I just needed to get some steps in, which I could have done in my neighborhood. And two, like if the click list person was lazy and it's like,
Oh, the yeah.
yeah,
Don't
like
even fucking get me
damn it,
started on that.
I know this was there, and then you go to the spot and it's exactly where you know it was going to be. Um, but yeah, so that's here to stay for us. I mean, that's
Well,
yeah.
and I think that's what, yeah, stuff like that. The convenience stuff is, I think Amazon's just going to get even more monstrous now.
Oh yeah.
I'm ordering shit left and right. I don't even know if I have the money for it. I probably don't. That's just going on a fucking credit card. So I'll worry about it in 30 to 90 days. Um, but everything's being delivered. I don't need to fucking leave the house. You know what I mean? It's like, my mother-in-law got me some stuff for my birthday, and um, one of them, the shirts we're going to return. She knows, and but I've got to go to the store to do it, and I'm like, ugh, can I just do this like online?
You're right though. How bad? I mean,
I'm
COVID.
turning into fucking Herb. What's his name? Howard Hughes. I'm gonna start pissing in jars and leaving it in my office.
Oh man, that's gross.
That won't happen. My wife won't let that happen.
there's plenty of room outside, just so you know.
Yeah. And I have 3 bathrooms in here, so you'd think I would just use one.
But I mean, no, I mean, I think you're right about that. I mean, it's there are some retail stores that have barely been able to survive now because of Amazon and things like that. Now with COVID, I mean, you're already hearing stores are going to close on Thanksgiving this year, which, right, in some cases, great, they can be with their families, and others, you're like, what does this do to the holiday shopping? What's holiday season going to be like? If the holiday season isn't huge this year, or if everyone only goes to Amazon, like there are going to be any brand that was struggling, Kmart, JCPenney, Sears, all those, gone.
Yeah. This is gonna I mean, this is like Darwinism at its finest, right? So
Yeah, for
the
business,
struggling,
hell yeah.
yeah, for business, for yeah, absolutely. Um it like a what was I talking to? Um Oh, maybe it was we were talking this afternoon about, like, if you're in if you're in commercial real estate now, yeesh, you better
Oh
start.
god, yeah.
My buddy is my buddy's a real estate agent in the Columbus area, and he is busier than shit.
I've heard that. I heard that the market in some cases is actually up here,
Yeah,
which, so I mean, who knows? I mean,
let
it's
me check.
unpredictable, man, because you know what? I think the part of the reason for that is anybody with investments, right? Have always said real estate holds value. So you know what? Maybe you can't turn and burn that house and make a $60,000 profit in a year. So you buy it, you rent it, go ahead and wait 3 to 5 years so it gains 100,000. So now you're like, hey, I still made 100 grand, and oh, by the way, I rented it for a profit. So I didn't lose those 5 years. Maybe I didn't make a lot, but I still made profit. I mean, I think that's happening too. So I mean, I guess that's also a sign that as bad as unemployment is, it hasn't shaken real estate yet. Not here.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of what's a lot of unemployment. I mean, it's the um
Right
I
now,
don't even
it's
know what it is.
the service industry is
Yeah,
the
the
biggest
services
thing
is
being
getting brutal.
impacted.
And that's, what's funny, that's the one thing that I hope recovers, because everybody, I mean, we always like going out to eat, and I mean, we're trying to do our best to order from places so they're, they can stay viable. But my father-in-law said it best, is like how impactful was the restaurant industry, with outside of the restaurant industry, like the farmers and all. I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah,
people with like all of that stuff. So, well, what's interesting though is, I think what it's done. There's like the positive. This we're not being funny right now, Mike. This isn't what we're supposed to be doing. Um, but but I think, like, it's opening up like other supply chain channels. Like, people, like, they couldn't sell their tomatoes, but they found that they could. This other trucking company was going to take stuff to the food bank or whatever. So
yeah.
you're finding these other avenues of innovation, I guess, is probably the way to say it. Necessity is the mother of was that
Yeah.
how
No, that's yeah.
invention? Yeah, necessity is the mother of invention. So, which I think is a derivative of innovation or something like that.
Yeah, close
Anyway,
enough. But
Yeah,
no.
fuck. It's just the three of us listening to this thing. So who the fuck cares?
So along those lines, no, there's four of us. But
Oh,
anyways,
oh, we didn't
um,
call out. You know, we didn't call out Carrie or Brittany.
yeah.
We got to get that in
Well,
before we
not
forget.
Brittany, but Carrie. Thank you,
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Carrie.
Brittany. Um,
Psh.
but no. So let me ask you this. Trying to bring it back. So we talk about we do
Okay.
the same thing. Like we do. We try to. We cook more again, which I like. But we still try to at least 2-3 days a week. We want to order in, or maybe we order lunch or whatever.
Yeah.
How has the service been? Because I'll be honest, and maybe it's just the town I live in. I mean, 85% of our orders are not 100% correct, if that makes sense. Like, it seems like on
Yeah,
most
that's
of them,
interesting.
there's at least one thing that's not correct. So I don't know if it's just the town I live in and the kids that work at these restaurants are just asshole fucking Gen Z or, or, right. Cause Gen Z doesn't give shit about anything.
Yeah, they're not even themselves.
No, no. The,
Um,
the things they care the most about are feeling like they're a part of something or smoking it. Smoking anything, I believe. So yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying to figure out.
is it
How?
vaping? Does vaping fall in there as well too?
Yeah, yeah. The
Okay.
fucking vaping. Yeah, it's so annoying.
That what's watching it. There's a bunch of commercials on about how you smoke in metal into your lungs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have the popcorn lung. I mean, it turns out like you may not get lung cancer, but you're probably going to die from one of 7 other diseases. Thanks.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So
the
who?
the
Yeah. Anyway.
service the service
Yeah.
near you, how has that been?
Not too bad. I mean, it's kind of an affluent area, so they don't really fuck around out here. I'm joking. Goes back to the elitist thing.
Yes.
Dublin has its rules on like you have all orders have to be perfect, and
Your service
I
level
love.
must be 99.5% raw.
Yeah, exactly. Raw. Yeah, exactly. I love making fun of Dublin. Like I make Dublin out to be like this super highfalutin town, and it's really not. But
Well, I
um,
mean, there are people around Central Ohio that call it snubbling, because they're
oh, do they really?
snobs.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, again, when you think like, all right, you live in Chicago for a while, New York, like
yeah,
that is money. Like there
yeah.
are legit money. When we're looking at houses, just because we're intrigued by houses and real estate and
Mhm.
things like that, I wonder when I see $1 million houses, like how many people in Columbus are affording that shit?
Yeah.
Like in New York, like in Chicago, there's a lot of big time money in those cities.
Oh, yeah. I mean that my apartment building in downtown, I was in 900 square feet of. No, I was in 500 square feet, 550 square feet studio.
Yeah.
Those were going, and this is a long time ago. Those were going for like 180 for 550 square feet. Now, on the end of the building was designed beautifully, by the way, but on the end of the building were 2 bedrooms, and you own the corners. So there was only 2 apartments on the very end of the building. One had one corner, the other had the other corner. Those went for like 5.25, 550. They were no more than 1,500 square feet. 12 to 1,500 square feet,
Mm.
over 500 grand.
Right.
But you see San Francisco. I mean, there's another fucking thing. San Francisco, you get a fucking dilapidated garage for 700 grand.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I don't fucking get. Oh,
Yeah.
have you heard about now with COVID and people working from home? These companies are realizing like they don't have to pay like
So
the location, like the adjustment. What do they call
I
it?
didn't read the. I know what you're saying. Like I can't think of it. It's almost like shift if, but it's where
Yeah.
you're working. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So I didn't read the article, but I saw it, and I mean, maybe, but I mean, whether either way, I mean, if unless your workforce is like, well, since we can work from home, I'm moving away from San Francisco and I'm moving to Butte. Like,
Well,
I mean, San Francisco still costs a lot.
yeah, but I guess the point is like you're paying a guy in Butte X, but you're paying the guy in San Francisco Y because of the location.
Oh
You
yeah,
have to pay more because it's more expensive. But if you're as a company, and I think Facebook was actually looking at. I think it's coming out of Facebook is they were just going to level all of the pay bands. So if you're a manager, 5 years of experience manager in Butte, and you're a manager 5 years in San Francisco, identical, you get paid the same. Well, in Butte, that might be more money, but in San Francisco,
Oh yeah,
you're living out of a tuna fish can at that
right. So
point.
Butte,
So
you're making right. Your manager making whatever 80 grand.
yeah,
But
80 grand.
in Butte, Montana, 80 grand's probably a good salary.
Yeah,
In San Francisco,
solid.
80 grand. They're like, what are you living? How many roommates do you have? Like, what are
Exactly.
you eating?
60.
Ramen?
You're 100,000 below the poverty level at 80.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, for sure. I get that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
So I don't know.
it's just a tough game to play. I mean, if they want to, hey, if you can get away with it, get away with it. But, um, yeah, I don't
It
know, man.
beats the fuck out of me, man. That's all I know.
So,
Um.
so what if COVID ended tomorrow? What's the first thing you'd do?
Oh
Or a
God.
series of things. You know what I mean? Like not just,
Yeah.
as soon as it's on the news, like I'm plowing my wife in the front yard, like yeah, I don't mean
We
that,
do
but
that now, Mike. It's just no different.
masks on.
Masks are on. I
But
can't breathe. Um. Uh. What was I gonna say? I don't know. You know what? I mean, I feel pretty free at the moment. Well, obviously, you wouldn't have to wear a mask. You know, I wonder if that will stay. Like people just continue to wear masks.
I think so, believe it or not,
Some, I think
because
some will.
there were some people that were doing it before COVID. Not a
Yeah, that's true.
lot, but you would see it. And so if people were willing to go that far, I mean, I believe there are people that are going to do it long term. Like it's going to be a lot more than just a year or two from now for certain people to feel confident enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
I think probably the one of the first thing I'd do if it, like tomorrow worldwide it was gone. I think we'd probably book a trip. We'd probably book a do something like that.
yeah,
Um, I feel like that's the because that's the one thing we can't do is book a trip. So we can, but I mean it'd be
but
safe from a
right,
safe perspective. It'd
yeah,
probably do
there's
something
yeah,
like that.
no
I
that
mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I said, I feel pretty open at the moment. But or maybe the first thing is, well, we've already gone to restaurants. I mean, they're semi open, so that's got to be it. It's got to be the trip thing.
I think that would be most people. I mean, I'm not going to Europe or anything, but yeah, I think I'd want to go on a trip to the beach. I think I'd want to get out and just feel free and uninhibited for a little while. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like not just because right now, I mean, sure, if we went to a Hilton or Marriott property on the beach, right? No doubt in my mind, Hilliard and Marriott are going to the extremes to sanitize rooms, right? Like
yep.
they're not getting that lawsuit.
Do you
So
say Hilton or Hilliard? I think you just said
Hilton,
Hilliard. Oh,
Hilton.
okay.
I apparently my growing up in Southern Columbus for high school came out a little bit.
Yeah,
Hilton.
I thought. Yeah,
Um,
no. I think you actually. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm just
yeah,
giving you shit. Go ahead.
I didn't, but I mean, I'm sure again, if you went to a Hilton or a Marriott resort, they're going to clean everything. They have private beaches. Like you could probably get away with it, and if you drove, it'd probably be a little safer COVID
I
wise.
looked at it. I mean, our anniversary is coming up in October, and I looked at because we got married in Hilton Head. I looked at the Westin we stayed at it, and actually a pretty decent deal. I actually have enough points. I don't even think I have to pay for a room, and we could drive down because we're actually close. We're 6 hours closer than we were prior. So,
Yeah,
um, we actually were going to talk about it. As far as booking it out and actually doing it, and that's October. So, yeah, to your point, it's like I even heard like they don't even bring stuff in the room anymore. Like they just leave your food outside or something like that. And you
I've
have to
heard
do it.
that too. So, or I've heard they're even going as far as almost like drone delivery, like maybe not a flying drone, but
Yeah,
like
a
that type
robot
of
delivery,
yep,
like a robot delivery.
yep.
I've seen that. They uh I've seen that. I was gonna say they, but anyway, go ahead. But
But so yeah, I mean, I think you could do that now, like you're just doing, right? You
yeah,
guys, and if you guys just weren't out on the beach with everyone else, there's probably a private beach at that place.
yep,
So as long as not everyone there is out, you're probably fine.
yeah,
Um, and like you said, if you drove, you didn't have to deal with the shenanigans in the airport. So I would think that'd be for us too. I mean, obviously, again, not the extravagance of what you experienced, Dave. But
No.
no, I mean, I think we'd go to a beach somewhere. I'd, you know what? I mean, there's probably some things we would do with the kids, like some of the kid places to just let them go have fun, like the trampoline places and the jumping and
Yeah.
where I think you can still go, but it's not the same experience. So I'm like, look, I'm not right. I'm not going to go to Disney World and only be able to do half the rides. Like that's what's the
Yeah,
point?
motherfucker. I paid $10,000 to fucking
Right.
get in this
I'm
place.
still going to pay the complete ridiculous over the top price no matter
That fucking
what.
place is so expensive.
Oh, it's the way somebody put it is like the moment you get there, they just put a vacuum immediately on your wallet.
Yeah.
I mean, and they make it so convenient now, how you can get the little wristbands or whatever. Well,
Mm-hmm.
your account is linked to it. So now you're just like, oh, kids, you hungry? Ding, ding, you ring it 6 times or whatever. What you didn't realize was each meal was $50. So like because it's so convenient, you don't think about it. And then you look and you're like, gee, we spent $2,500 on food. Like, and we bought, because we stayed at a resort that had a kitchen. We bought
Yeah.
$200 in groceries. Like, what the hell did we just do?
Yeah, exactly.
It is, man.
Fucking Mickey Mouse. Oh, you know what I watched the other night was the South Park Mickey Mouse one. Have you seen that with the
I
Jonas
have. I
Brothers?
haven't seen it in a while.
Oh, that was fucking hysterical. Absolutely hysterical. But that's as soon as you started like they make it so convenient, and I see like a cartoon Mickey, like Donald, like Scrooge McDuck diving through dollars and coins and shit like that.
It's funny.
Yeah. Oh, he's back there with counting hundreds.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he's the biggest gangsta in the world. Fucking Mickey Mouse, man. It's funny you mentioned South Park. The other night we were just flipping through and I stopped on Comedy Central for a few minutes and it was South Park Dog the Bounty Hunter. So Cartman's Dog the Bounty Hunter. And he's just walking around like, listen here, bruh. I got to take care of bruh. So like Sarah, I forget, like I was like, hey, you want to watch something on the DVR? And she was like, yeah. So I put it on. She's like, hey, well, aren't we going to watch the rest of Cartman, bruh? I was like, hell yes, we are. You're getting laid tonight.
Bruh. Wait, that the kid.
Oh, that bra
she was actually
is
just
coming off.
She was actually asking you for her bra on the other side of the table. You gonna grab that bra? What? The bra, my bra. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I thought you were being,
I thought we were Sweeney Todding.
Yeah. Sweetie.
Steven Sondheim, brah.
Brah. I respect you, brah.
Respect you too,
I always say
brah.
that. Somebody asked me once about like how's married life, and I said 2 things I never thought I'd know. I'd have more knowledge on ever, that were shoes and bras. I learned more about shoes and bras after getting married.
Yeah, it's fair.
Well, living together too. So it's part of the whole thing. But
hey, so I'm a big believer you should move in together before you get married. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
When you see people that are like, we're going to give each other the ultimate gift, and we're going to move in together after we get married, and then take our virginities. And you're like, I mean, sure, yeah. The virginity.
So here's my card. I'm a divorce lawyer, and I'll just put that in your pocket and hang on to that for a little
bit. Right, you're going to need this.
Yeah, you're probably going to need this. We're watching a show. We're watching a show called Indian Matchmaker on Netflix, which is fascinating because I don't know if you guys know this, but my wife is Indian. Just FYI.
Thought she was Asian.
The Indian is Asian. I was corrected, by the way. I was made aware that India is in Asia, so technically she is Asian as well.
That's a great kind of joke. I know it really happened, but that's a great joke because you know how many people are like, "Hey, man, what the?" Oh,
yeah.
You're like,
anyway. But I like the Indian culture and kind of I watch the shows more than she does. Like, hey, watch this. She's like, I don't want to fucking watch this. This is my life. Why would I watch what I already know? And I'm like, did you see this? She's like, yeah, I know about it. I know about the book. Yes, I was in the book. Yes.
This is what it's like. Yes.
Hey, did you see? Yeah. Yes, I know. That happened to me like yesterday. So just settle down, buddy. But that's like those are arranged. They're getting arranged marriages. So
so
sometimes it works. my in-laws were arranged. They knew each other 2 weeks and then got married.
Obviously, they're still together.
They are still together.
So that's
There are moments where I don't know if it's going to necessarily last, but they seem to be going. Seem to be going strong. Our neighbors next door, they got married on a weekend. She went back to college, and he came back to the States. And they were over for the other day. We were
wow.
having some out on the patio, and she said it was the weirdest thing. We met. I don't know whenever they met. I think that week. He goes like she goes. I got married on the weekend, and Monday I went back to school. It's like it felt like I was at I went to somebody's wedding on the weekend and just went to school. I forgot how long she was. I think she was back in India for like a year before she moved to the States. But
Can you imagine that? Like, hey, so what'd you do? How was your weekend? I was great. I got married. Wait,
like, what? Yeah.
Huh?
Well, we'd be like that, and but in that culture, they'd be like, oh yeah, it's about time. You're kind of getting up in age.
So that'd be
kind of how
that's kind of how it is over there.
yeah. There's a whole age thing that you
Yeah,
got to be married by X date. And,
you know what
and
I think. So I get that a
it's
little bit.
changing. It's changing, but I mean that's still
That's the culture, right? I mean, it's I know it's probably hard for a lot of people here to know, but I mean that is the culture there. Have you ever seen this 90-day fiance thing?
No. We've really taken a turn off of COVID. Now
Yeah,
we're
we
talking
did.
about like staying married,
But
it's still a good topic.
yeah, hey,
Not
yeah,
staying married, but moving in together.
This is what we do.
Exactly.
So my wife watches this show, and
The shit. That's
it's shit. It is shit. But it's one of those. It's so hard to just not look away. Like,
I'm a
God.
complete train wreck.
Yeah.
TV show. I love that stuff.
So I mean, the show's awful, but like you see these people, and I'm pretty sure they just wanted to be on TV. So they're going, and this version that she watches, like these are Americans going over to India or going over to wherever, Brazil,
Yeah.
Colombia, and a lot of the times they're moving in with people who aren't living. I mean, they don't live well. I mean, these are now in that culture that's normal. I mean, but looking at some of these apartments and the women, like one of the women was getting so mad, and her husband wanted her to wear a hijab, and that's their culture, and she's like, "You're not going to change me," and it's like, did you not look online before you moved there? Like this in this particular one, this was Jordan. Like
my God, yeah.
Yeah, did you not try to understand at all what life is like in Jordan? Like the culture is so vastly different than it is here in America. I'm not saying you should have or shouldn't have done it. You should have at least researched it before you did it, though.
But yeah, absolutely. I was just going there. It's like, hey, read a fucking book, or just like, what are the top 10 things that I need to be so I don't get my ass kicked in Jordan?
Yeah.
Well, for women, it's wear a hijab, however you pronounce it.
Hijab.
Hijab. Sorry. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law drove across Africa years ago for like 6 months. It took them 6 months. They literally drove across the entire country.
Oh wow.
Or I'm sorry, continent of Africa, because there are multiple countries in there.
Yep.
But they did so much research. They weren't married at the time, and there were parts of regions and whatever, like that's like the huge no. Like you have, if it's a man and a woman, you have to be married. So they wore wedding rings. Like, so when if they saw them, each one of them had a wedding ring on.
Yeah.
Just to, because they just, I don't know, did some research.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the thing I just couldn't believe, because there's some of these things, right? Like we talk about this before, like how is it in some of the other countries? Is it you wipe with the left, shake with the right, or is it the opposite way in some of the countries?
No, you wipe with the left, shake with the right, yeah.
So like here, if you offer to shake with the left, people would just be like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you," whatever.
Yeah.
And there are countries where they're gonna be like, "Bitch," like,
yeah, they'll get pissed off.
Yeah, like just something that simple is extremely offensive. So that's my thing. I'm just watching these, like, did they not think at all?
No, they want, to your point, they want to be on TV.
I mean, maybe that was part of it, is like, but you can't research a goddamn thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you know what? Here's a fucking clue. Buy a travel book. That's all you need, right there. They're $13, $10, whatever it may be.
That's it. Yeah,
just flip through the pages every now and again. Just picking up tidbits.
It's crazy. And that's the thing. I'm not going to say, right? I'm not going to say they should all live by the way we do in America. That's not at all. I mean, my thing is their culture is different. So just because something is socially acceptable here, that does not mean it's socially acceptable there. Like
Yeah, absolutely.
cleavage there, not okay. Cleavage here, early and often.
Yes, exactly. There's a
Yeah,
whole internet
yes,
full of it
please.
from what I hear. So, so that's what that's what I hear, that there's some cleavage on the internet.
So yeah, yeah. I mean, so back to where we went probably
Where the fuck
15
were we?
minutes ago.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the biggest thing for us with
So, so
COVID is.
that sums up our travel section of tonight's.
But
So,
yeah.
folks, read a book before you go somewhere.
The more you know.
Yeah. The more you, dun, 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 I can't. What's that?
Right,
Dun,
the
dun,
little
dun,
jingle.
yeah, the little jingle that goes with it. I just threw some stars up in the air
Right,
at the same time. So,
I saw it.
well, I'm just telling the people that didn't see it.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I
But
lit
yeah,
a flare
man.
in the office.
I mean, you're right though. I mean, I think a lot of things have opened up. We just can't do it at the rate or that we
The
want.
big thing is sports.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
the big thing is sports.
I'll be 100% honest with you. I'm a huge sports guy. This has not been as bad as maybe I've just gotten used to it. But, I mean, when The Last Dance was on, that was incredible. I'm going to miss the hell out of football if it doesn't happen in the fall. But
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't missed it as much as I thought I would. And I think that's going to be a challenge that some of these sports are going to have to deal with is I don't know that the world is going to be, rushing back as you would think they will.
That's going to be a good. But to the point, the point of the question was if it was the end tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of people would go. They'd immediately go to
Oh,
some type of sporting event.
tailgating at an Ohio State game is going to be.
Yeah.
There are people that's what would be the pinnacle for them, right? Like they want to go back to their 50-person party that they have every home game, where they've got tents and 4 different grills running and an RV's there and all that shit. Yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, dude, they do it.
I absolutely, I know they do.
My brother's high school baseball coach, their tailgate was sponsored by Bud Light. So, like, I think they got a couple of cases
I
for
love
free.
there's a lot of
questions
questions in that statement. There's a lot of questions in that statement. First of all, high school baseball coach sponsored by Bud Light. Hey, juniors, here's a couple of free cases of Bud Light for you. Compliments of Budweiser.
Yeah, I still don't see the problem with this. I don't care what you're talking about.
And neither does the high school.
I mean, I don't believe he's a high school baseball coach anymore, but
just saying.
Unrelated. He retired, but
okay.
But no, I mean, yeah, it was an awesome.
Cans.
When my brother was coaching at Miami of Ohio, they played Ohio State, and like he got like a half hour, early enough to go somewhere, hey, we just got to be back here at whatever time. So like we ran across so we could go see his coach. And of course we were all just loving it. He's coaching in the shoe, right? I mean, that's a huge, to a kid from Ohio, that's about as big as it gets.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the tailgate was unreal, man. They had like 13 tents, food, beer anywhere. I mean, it was awesome. Like I know, like it wasn't our tailgate, so we weren't looking to be like, "Hey, beer me." We're like, because that's how my stepdad was, right? Like if you offer it, he'll take it, but he's not going to ask. Like it's your money, not ours. And yeah, they're like, "Come on, you guys want some beer?" And we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Not you, man. My brother, not you. You're going to need it for the ass whooping you guys are going to have today, but no.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think they lost 56-7.
It's a learning experience.
Something like that. It was, yeah.
Right. You got to take something positive from the game.
Just so you know, you're going to be better for this.
It's not going to feel like it for the rest of your life, but then a little bit down, a little deep inside, it'll feel good. It'll feel positive. There's a positive sentiment that you scored 7 points on the 4th string.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah,
a local Ohio State high school was playing it as the 4th string, so you got 7 points on that. Olentangy North, or I don't know. That's even a school. I
It's
just made
not,
up.
but I know what you mean. I mean, you
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. As long as I hit it. So, um, anyway, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think as you kind of start winding this down a little bit, but yeah. I think those are like for us. If it was to end tomorrow, it'd probably be like getting going somewhere like somewhere semi big.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been kind of nice to be home. I think to your point about things changing too. Um, I think to your point, a lot of sports might be surprised at how people are like, meh. You know what I mean? I found something else to fill that need.
Yeah.
Now, the insane sports people are going to just be sports people.
Oh, yeah.
That's just it is what it is. But, um, I mean, I'm out playing. I play golf every Thursday. I mean, that's one of the only few sports you can really
Yeah.
kind of socially distance.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, and we have that event, a charity event coming up this weekend. So,
Yeah. That'll be fun.
it'll be fun. And but uh, y- I, I mean, I think we're going to be surprised. I mean, I haven't really delved into the research or took time to really think about what's really has changed. But we talked about it earlier. I think the restaurant industry hopefully will kind of boom back. Um, but to your point about the service, it hasn't been too bad here. I think we ordered something the other day. This I think it's called the Rail. Yeah, the Rail. I don't even know where it's at.
Saw a movie
And
called The Rail once. But what? I'm sorry. Please continue.
Madison Ivy, Jenna Jameson. I'm trying to think of a bunch of porn star names that I know them, but so many comes at once that they get log jammed.
Yeah. From what I hear.
Riley Reid. Anyway,
Kimmy Granger.
that they forgot one or two things, and they're usually pretty good. But I would think that their service would be better coming out of this. Like they're going to want people to come, so the service I think should really type of step up. But again, I think it's the business Darwinism. I think the ones that were struggling are going to be gone, and the ones that kind of have a good model are going to survive.
The thing that I think sucks is I feel like the chains are going to be able to weather the storm, but this is going to hurt the small guy a lot worse. And that's what bothers
it
me.
absolutely is.
That's what bothers me is like, some of those guys and women, right? Some of them, like, they didn't do anything wrong. They just opened at the wrong time. Just decided 3 months before COVID to open it up. Things are getting going, and then bam. So I mean, there's definitely going to be some of that, and that sucks. I mean, I get it. We got to do what we got to do as a society, but it just sucks we're going to hear a lot more of those stories.
There's been some stuff about like redoing like because of COVID. I mean, and how downtown areas have been disrupted by it. About changing. I've heard the things about like no cars downtown, like going so there's no like cars downtown. Yeah, it's all like walking or biking or whatever. And I think that would, if they were to do something like that, you're pushing a rock uphill. I know. I mean, it's a grand scheme thing, but
yeah.
That would open up a lot of smaller businesses as well too, because that's where they work the best is when you have foot traffic, when you're out, when you have to walk around and you're done. That's where I mean, but to get in your car and drive to like a small business, I don't know.
You have to be deliberately going there though.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
You're not like, hey, let's go drive around downtown and find somewhere. You're going to be like, nope, going there. But you're right. Well, I guess you may drive to downtown and then walk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like when we're in, I mean, sound more elitist than I already am, but like when we're in London, or even when we were in France, you're kind of walking around, just sightseeing, and you're like, "Fuck, I'm hungry." I'm like, "Oh, this place looks good." And it's like a little mom and pop shop and whatever. So, that's kind of where I was going with it. Like when you're walking around, you're more likely to stop into a shop here or do this here. Or,
well, that's
pick up something and.
That's one of the great things about vacationing, right? That's one of the things I love. Like I want to go when we go to wherever you go to England, France, anywhere else,
Europe, usually just generally Europe.
Just go Europe. You're right, and Sweden.
Is Sweden still in Europe?
Yes.
No, I don't think it is.
That's my joke.
I think
first of all.
Oh. Because I think it's Baltic.
But I think again, that's one of the best parts is like we're here. I don't want to go to a chain. I don't want to go to Joe's Crab Shack. I'd rather go to this local guy who, you know what I mean? Like, just,
Yeah.
I like that feel. I'd rather know that, you know what, they value this dollar, and it's different, and the experience is different. You know, I mean, you may go to one, you know, every Applebee's is still Applebee's, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's different and unique when you go to that, you know, where the owner is the chef, or, you know what I mean? It's just, I like that. I enjoy that.
But what's the big thing at Olive Garden? Free garlic bread? Is it
Yeah,
free garlic bread?
unlimited garlic
Yeah.
bread. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Breadsticks.
Oh yeah,
Unlimited breadsticks.
breadsticks. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I got the universal sign for breadstick when I was saying my wife's sitting over. My wife's still working.
I didn't know there
FYI,
was.
if anybody.
Man, she's a go getter.
Yeah, she's just it's that Indian culture just driving. Like
They really do
so
outwork
she just
us, son of a
yeah,
bitch.
they really do outwork us. She just gave me the finger and an evil look when I said that. So I'm in for a great evening. So great.
And on that note,
And on that note, I may or may not be on the next podcast. We'll talk it out.
no,
We'll
but
work it out.
this has been nice. Was this 3 weeks in a row? I mean, we're
3 weeks in a row.
yeah.
We got a schedule done. Holy shit, we might pick up more listeners.
Yeah, I think if we do this one more time, it's considered we're on a tear. So
4 in a row is on a tear.
yeah,
Interesting.
it is
Okay.
now.
All right. Well, I don't know the definition of it, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I defined it, so it is.
There. Boom. We're done.
Let it be done.
So, for those of you that do listen, you know, we do have Twitter, Fragmental Co. at Fragmental Co. Right?
Fragmental Co.
You think I would know this?
You know what though? Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But you're our social media director, by the way. So,
well, that
you've become our social media
that
director.
doesn't say much.
You're doing a fine job. Yes, if you guys are out there, you want us to talk about something, you know, shoot us a Fragmental Co. We have also fragmental.co is our website. And shoot us a note.
Yeah, shoot us a note. As always, we're looking for suggestions, feedback. You know, if you recommend something, we'll give you a name drop, and all 5 listeners will hear you.
Exactly. If you want your name dropped, shoot us a Twitter. Shoot us a DM. DM us in the Twitter.
Yeah, slide into our DMs. Isn't that what they say nowadays?
Yeah. I think that's what the kids say nowadays. Hey, before we go though, have you seen the thing on Twitter where the contractors were digging into people's Twitter accounts, like all the way up to like Beyonce?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man.
Yep. When you're a contractor writing code and stuff, you have unfettered access to. That's my new word, fettered.
That's
unfettered access to. Yeah, I like it. To everybody's information. So.
Oh man. Do you think those are
dick pics off of Twitter? All the DMs I sent.
Are there some dope DMs out there?
Oh, I'm sure there are. The fuck, I'm sure I'd be on Blazarian's DM like if I was a contractor, because I'm sure that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some crazy shit on that.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
So
he's definitely swinging on a chandelier with something hanging from his dick.
An AK-47.
It's pulling the trigger. No idea if he's Tommy Leeing it or not, but I'm sure, you know, just for the sake of our imagination, yeah, he's pulling triggers with his dong.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll leave on that note.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Mike. Talk to you soon.